And welcome to Paper Crafting with Tammi. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. It is awesome to see you here. I have a great project for us today that we're going to start on in just a minute. If you haven't done it yet, take a minute and hit that big red subscribe button so you see what else I've got for you next time. And let's get started. All right, paper crafters. Today we're going to be finishing up using this Die Cuts with a View premium stack called Palms and Ferns. I've done several videos using this paper stack, but I had one more set of paper left to go ahead and deal with out of this particular stack. I will tell you that the papers that I had left were not speaking to me. I was really having some trouble, and that's why this video has been a while coming. But these were the 4 pieces that I had left out of the stack. So a couple really busy kind of foliage prints, and then this one with some metallic on it, and I'll show you the back sides. So more metallic here, and then a black like hexagon print. Okay, so lots of choices. When I very first put my kits together and split this stack up, I had decided that this sweet leaf paper was going to be the background that I used, okay? So I already ordered enough of it for my classes, and I decided I was gonna go ahead and stick with it. I will tell you, I shared this paper kit with a few friends, and at the end of the video, I wanna show you the layouts that they came up with as well, because everybody had a really different take on it, and it might give you some more ideas about how to use your paper pad up. Okay, so these are the papers we're playing with. And I'm pulling a design today, actually out of the Kiwi Lane. It was a digital idea book that recently came out if you purchased anything during their birthday sale. So this particular layout was inspired by a page in that digital book. These are the cards that I had left. I just wanted to show you those real quick. So they all coordinate with that paper in one way or another. So those will be something else I can design with today. This particular layout is very photo driven, which is great for me. I absolutely love photos. So, and I want to fit as many as possible on a layout. So up in this upper corner, I actually would probably use 3x4s, but I just don't have enough for what I need. So I went ahead and pulled out some 3x3s. And then down here at the bottom, there are several photos that actually go across and fill this whole bottom space. And I went ahead and grabbed 2 3x4s and a 4x6. Okay. And then across this side, there are actually 3 4x4 photos. Okay. So that makes a total of 8 pictures on this layout. All that are pretty reasonable sizes. You could definitely get some good stuff going on with those. I also wanted to pull in some tags for this layout. So this is actually tags 5, 6, and 7. And these, I want to just kind of have going across the page, poking out the top a little. So I won't cut the whole tag when I cut these. I will just cut the top portion of those. And then I want to go ahead and use a couple of 1-inch strips. So I'm going to use a 1-inch strip there across the top of those photos. And I'm going to use a 1-inch strip here across the top of these. And I'm just going to seal this here with a little 1/4 or 1/2-inch strip. This layout had a couple of opportunities to bring in a couple of mini borders. So we have several different card borders or tiny border sets. The one that I'm going to play with today is Blissful. So this one is a 5.5-inch. It's one of our original sets from Cards. And I am actually going to cut it a tiny bit longer, I think, because the idea here is for it to hit the edge of the paper, but then to carry across to anchor those photos. So knowing that I want my photos a little bit larger than I have here. I want to go ahead and carry that out. So I'll be cutting this at about 6 inches. And then this is just the matching piece of that. And I'm going to go ahead and lay it here. It'll just be a fun little accent. This layout was designed using a couple of the rings templates. So this is rings 3. It's not the biggest, but it is a good size ring. I'm going to tuck that under, and that'll give some just kind of neat visual appeal there. And this particular layout, the one that's in the idea book, was meant for a moving layout, moving their business from one location to another. I'm not going to be doing pictures like that on it, and we know that I have those beautiful fern papers that we're using, so I know this is going to feel kind of tropical. So I went ahead and pulled out the flower from Tropical 4 and the leaf, so it's Tropical 3. And I think I could use a couple of these here, either together, coming out on one side, or coming out the other side. We'll have to play with that a little bit once I get them cut. But this is the basic design. Now, out of the tags and things that I have left, I definitely want to use one that has a bit of a journaling feel. So I'll probably go with this one that says today. And it's also got that greenery on it, which will match some of the paper that I want to use in this layout. So I will probably just kind of anchor that here and make that a fun little element on that part of the page. I'm going to go ahead and make some paper choices and start doing some cutting and inking, and then I'll share with you how those choices are coming together. To start with, I went ahead and cut those strips that are going to go across. I thought that these would be a really nice way to go ahead and bring in that greenery and just start creating that little bit of a tropical feel for this layout. So I did all of the strips with that greenery paper. I also used a really fun paper. This was the back side on one of the papers that I showed you. It's a white, and then all of the leafing on here is gold, which is just really gorgeous. So that is gonna go here. And so you see what I mean? How I cut that a little long. It is a little bit longer than that piece, but it's gonna come out far enough to do what I want it to do. I did also make it a little bit less tall. So I shortened it a little and then made it a little bit longer just to fit my needs. So then that one's gonna go there. I just like that metallic pop. For photo mats, I ended up using 2 of the sentiment cards that were left. When I flipped those over, they just had a black and white pattern on them that I actually thought was gonna look kind of nice here. And then for the larger photo, I used this black and white hexagon print. And keeping in mind, you're gonna be putting photos on top of this anyway, so all you're gonna see is that edge, and I think that'll actually work out really well. For these 2 up here, for the 3x4s, I used more of that black paper. For this piece, it is really meant to be 3 4x4 photos, but they're all gonna be on this one section. So I went ahead and made one large mat, and this is actually 4.5 by 12. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, and I could do my 3 photos in there. The next pieces that I figured out were the pieces that I wanted to use for the tops of these tags. I cut these out of the black paper that has the gold metallic. And I went ahead and cut those so that the metallic line is just going straight up and down. Happy with how that looks. For the ring, I went ahead and used that same paper, the black that has the gold metallic accent on it. When I traced and cut this ring, if you've seen my videos, you've heard me talk about this before. It's really hard to cut the center of a ring out. So don't hesitate, decide where you're gonna be tucking it, and just go ahead and cut through that ring so that you can go ahead and cut that inside out a little bit easier. I knew that this ring was going to be tucking right underneath these photos, and I wanted this line to be a little bit diagonal. Okay, so that's tucking anyway, so it's absolutely fine. Here's that tag that I was talking about. This was the one that said today. It was already made to be shaped with a dovetail, although it was originally flat on the bottom. So I just trimmed that in and then made the edges a little bit more narrow. I think that's just kind of a nice accent there. Either straight up and down, it could jog off to the side a little. I have to decide exactly how I want that to be. So once this part was done, obviously I still needed to get the flower pulled in. And I decided to go ahead and do that flower with that same black paper that has the gold accents. Okay, that was really the best choice of what I had available. And then I cut the tropical leaves out of that really beautiful greenery paper, and let's see how those turned out. So again, these, I'm not sure which direction I'm gonna put these. I think for now, I'll just do one coming off of each side. So now that this is laid out, I will tell you, once I was kind of previewing all of the colors, I decided I needed to do a little bit more. And I wanted a little bit more of an accent on here, something to, I don't know, bring it together. And so I decided to pull out just a gold glitter paper. And anytime I'm doing a layout like this, I need to be aware that if I'm gonna do it for class, whatever I choose, I'm gonna need to provide for everyone. So this is just cut from a sheet of glitter paper, and they're 3/8 of an inch. So I could do a whole class in a sheet and a half probably. So I think that's gonna work out really well. So I think what I want is this gold to be right up against the photos, like that. And I just like that little pop there. I would do the same thing here and just frame those pictures in with that gold little highlight. And I just think that added a lot to the layout without being something that is a real expensive addition or anything that would be hard to find. So whether you use shimmer tape or washi tape or something like I did, I think that's a pretty easy accent to add. I also pulled out a few glittery flowers that I have, and I thought that little accent would also be a nice addition. I originally was thinking I was just gonna use one, but that doesn't work. You can't just use one. So I pulled out another. And I think I'll probably do something kind of like that. And then I've got probably one more that I would use just because I really do like to work in threes. And I would probably do this one somewhere over here without getting into those photos, but just somewhere to give one more spot, one more focus of that color. So this is how this one came together. Again, really interesting paper to work with, but I'm excited that I was able to come up with something that I'm happy with. I think this would be beautiful to use for a luau, some kind of a tropical themed party. This could even be used for pictures that are just outdoor pictures around a lake or in somebody's yard, a wedding. So lots of choices here. I definitely will end up getting an opportunity to use this, so I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and scooch this to the side because I really wanna show you the layouts that my friends came up with. So let me grab those. And again, we all did something really different, and I love that. So this is the layout that my friend Megan came up with. And she used that new Funky Frills border. That's one of the new Kiwi Lane borders. She brought in the ampersand from a previous monthly club kit. And then this is leaves out of that tropical template set. So I love how this turned out. She's actually the one who got me thinking about maybe I could bring in some of the glitter paper. So that was a good, her inspiration sent me in a good direction. My friend Becky came up with this one. I love this. She used that vintage bracket, and this turned out so neat. Okay, lots of really fun pieces in here, the little hearts. She cut that little love element off of one of the cards and then turned the rest of it into this great tag. Okay, so really fun accents on here. Used the top from the nature accessory, and then this from autumn, and made these great trees. So this is another really beautiful layout. So more ideas with the same materials. And then my friend Barb took her kit and ended up really featuring the metallic papers. So I used a lot of that white with the gold metallic to do upper and lower borders. That turned out really neat. And then emphasized the edges with that black and gold paper, and then used that one for photo matting and for behind these two tags. Okay. And then she fussy cut some of the leaves out of that paper with all of the foliage on it, and that made a really nice accent too. So super fun to see what different people came up with. Hopefully if you have this paper stack, you are feeling inspired to get it out and get going on those last few pages and create something wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a great time and enjoyed creating along with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.